Hello, welcome to the I'm Angry podcast. You're on with Mike. So next to me is Johnny, another Mike over there. Matt's out right now. He's away on a little vacation, so we're going to be recording one without him. We'll miss him. We'll try to, keep him in mind when we're thinking of what we're angry about. But today we're actually angry about work and I guess the work-life balance generally. So we're going to get into that a bit. We'll have to call in later.
All right. First, before we get started, how was everybody's week? Coming off of the holidays.
Well, I worked, so I'm not happy about that.
So not great.
Yeah.
It was a 4-day week, so I guess there's more to, generally there's more to complain about, at least one day more.
All right.
So,
Well, the holidays good. The holidays good to you guys?
Holidays were great.
yeah, holidays were good.
Okay. That's
Usually are nice and relaxing. Spend some time with family. Can't complain.
And then you had the last, today's? So you had about 3 or 4 days to get angry about being back in work.
It only took me 3 hours.
So why don't you guys take this one? Why don't you guys get started? Because I don't I don't have that situation currently. So go ahead,
Big work guy.
take it away.
Big work guy. It's such a broad to work and work-life balance in general. I'm not a big fan of working. I would like to retire as soon as I can. Obviously, as I think a lot of people would. But I think that my biggest gripe with it is that in the modern day, at least in my experience, commuting's part of the workday. It was kind of nice when it was 5 days a week from home. Because, you wake up, at least I did, working from home with just a laptop. You can get out of bed at 9 or 8:55, whatever. You're on by 9. At 5, you're done. You can sign off, and your actual day starts, at 5:05, whatever.
Right.
But now an 8-hour workday is really 10 minimum, and I don't do a lot of getting ready for work. I know, some of my friends, I'm sure you guys to an extent, have to get up, an hour and a half early, 2 hours early for work to get ready, take a shower. I shower at night. I don't do morning showers, so I get out of bed, I get dressed. But really, it's a 10-hour. There's an hour commute in the beginning, an hour after. Mm-hmm. It's 10 hours out of your day. I'm assuming everybody's got to eat at some point, like dinner. Let's say that takes an hour. I understand that's on your time, but it doesn't feel like your life. It feels like
it's a
sustenance thing. So that's another minimum hour. So really, what are you left with, for your day? That's my issue with work-life balance. I think it's unsustainable, even with the best case.
Okay, so you're talking about someone who came out of COVID times, right? Because you were working from home, obviously, and a lot of people still have arrangements where they work from home a couple of days a week. A lot of people prior to COVID only knew that's what they knew. It was an 8-hour day in work, and at least, and I know guys that traveled 2 hours each way, which is kind of crazy. I think that like my maximum travel time is probably in my career was 45 minutes, right? So to me, it's not. It was just something that was built into your day. I don't know.
So you're okay with it then?
I kind of I didn't have issues throughout my career. I guess the way I looked at it was, and maybe it was different for me, but my work people, my work friends, some of them were an extension of my family, and especially early on in my career, we spent a lot of time after work, and sometimes like before work. We spent a lot of time hanging out. So it was when family came along, it did get a little bit tougher, right? You got to be home for the baseball games, the basketball games, dance, all of that stuff. That was a little difficult. But I never really had that. I guess, and then maybe the jobs I worked, maybe I was just lucky.
But isn't that the problem right there then? Because like when you started work, you enjoyed the people and doing things. And then obviously, like I said, you had a family and life changed, but your job didn't change for you. Like you still had to do that. So going back to Mike's comment, like you're spending a lot of time prepping for work, getting to work, going to work. Yeah. By the time you get home, you got like a handful of hours and you're going to bed early. It's almost like they consider like the 8-hour sleep part of it is your time.
Like that's your time.
Like oh yeah, I'm sleeping. I'm
Yeah,
having
and-
so much fun.
And 8 hours is supposed to be like healthy.
Right.
I don't even get 8,
Yeah.
and it's still I'm short on time.
yeah.
You know, I was talking to my girlfriend about this about a year ago. Again with the work life, same issue, I guess. But I play rugby in my spare time. You know, for fun.
So you
And
do
I
have
wanted
spare
to-
time.
A bit. No, I mean you get home. No,
Very
look, you get home at let's say 6:37 at least I do. Right. I get off at 5. It's about an hour. Sometimes a bit longer. I get out at 5:30, whatever. So it's okay. Let's say 6. Let's be generous. It's 6. I get up at 8. So let's say I gotta go to bed at midnight. I got 6 hours to work with. Right. Like I
And
said,
most people wouldn't go to sleep at midnight.
right. I'm saying I'm getting my 8. And I don't go to bed at midnight because I feel like I need more time. But let's say I'm going to bed at 8. I'm trying to give the best, like just actually block out my day of how much time I have available.
Right.
And that's midnight. So after midnight, anyway, if I wanted to do something as a group, I can, nonetheless. But so 6 it takes an hour to eat. So I got 5. And then let's say rugby practice or football, whatever sport you play, baseball, yada yada. I think averages around 2, right? So you say you do the practice, you eat. That's 3 hours of 5 or 6. You got 2 left for what? You know, again, shower, get ready for bed. I mean, that doesn't take a lot of time for some people. You know, I take my whole sleep process is about a half hour. So fine, I get an hour and a half, 2 hours that are like watch TV time or read a book time or whatever. Right. But for my whole life, like it adds up. It's forever. It's not like, I think people always think about it, like, that's not that bad, you know, every day, but you get 5 days a week. But it's like the only time that ends, that I get a full day to myself, is, I guess, the weekend technically.
No, but not even a full day. You get Saturday.
Right, yeah, because Sunday's already.
Sundays you're already prepping.
Well, and it's already sad. It's
Okay,
sad.
the Sunday
That
thing
is.
we could talk about.
All right, we'll go back
'cause
to
you
the
agree.
Sunday.
We come back to the Sunday.
We'll go
thing.
back to Sunday.
Right. I just think you don't have a lot of time, and you get one thing. Because I was also thinking about starting to coach a youth football team, and if I did that, and I played rugby, that's 4 days a week now. If I stagger them,
But you have a fulfilled life then.
but I get one thing. But then I don't spend any time with my
then you have-
girlfriend.
so
but then
what?
or you guys, when would I ever be able to
You'll
pop
have
in?
plenty of time to spend with
You
her when
guys
you're
already
married.
say I don't visit you guys, right? I already don't see my family, and now
That's because you choose not to.
you know what I mean. I just mean it takes you
Well, he
get
has
one
no
thing a
time
day.
because he's
You get
working.
one thing.
All right, so what do you
I
think?
get to be, I get to play rugby or coach football.
Understood. So,
I
okay,
can
so
stagger them, and then I can't hang out with my girlfriend.
So we got a 24-hour day. You're talking 10 hours is taken up with your work, right?
Yeah,
8 hours to sleep.
8 hours of sleep.
8 hours to sleep. And
get
what
six.
is that?
You have
What-
6
what's the
hours.
math of that? You got
Roughly
6
6.
hours.
Yeah,
But
Of-
that's
of-
you
also
get 6 hours, and
of
I'm
life to
taking.
live.
I would argue you should take out at least an hour, because I understand eating is your time, and like I enjoy eating, I enjoy cooking, but I'm saying that's like sustenance time.
I agree.
You know,
Because
it's
when-
not like it's not what I would consider true free time. You have to
No.
eat. You're gonna cook.
But what about
even if you
chores
enjoy?
and
I
all that
enjoy it.
stuff?
Chores. You gotta
Like,
do. you
everybody
gotta do
does that on
laundry.
weekends.
That's
Okay,
not.
so just give me a second here. Let me get my
He is
thoughts
so
together.
different than we are.
I'm getting so mad.
I am too.
I'm just
Like-
about it.
You should get
Wait,
mad.
before you
should
even-
get mad. I mean, no. Listen,
Wait,
you guys,
Mike, before you give all your reasons why
It's not
we're
reasons.
wrong.
I have questions.
Wait, I have to say, because what Michael's saying, I also want to be like, then you only get, most people get like 2 weeks off. You're lucky if you get, so you get 2 weeks off. Going back, I also want to understand how work became from 9 to 5 to 9 to 6, because now you have to have a lunch, right? So they don't pay you for a lunch, so you have to work that extra hour. So your day got longer somewhere in life. Like
I don't disagree.
the
with
song
any of
was working 9 to 5. They need to change it.
I
It's
don't thi-
working
I don't-
9 to 6. Like,
that. I don't disagree.
That does
with
mess
any
up
of
the
that.
flow of it.
like,
I guess I have some questions though.
oh, go ahead. Ask your question.
So let's start off. I mean, the obvious question is what is the well? There's a couple of things. You guys have no flexibility in your job. I mean, I thinking back, there were times where I didn't have a lot of flexibility, but I think I was fortunate in that I did have, for most of the years I worked, I did have flexibility. in my
Describe your
job.
flexibility. What do you mean?
Well, I was able to, like I could do midday doctor appointments. I could leave early when I had to see a baseball game or
So some jobs
get
would
to a-
have
get
that,
to a
but we're
thing
talking
or
in general.
Help with the kids. No, right. You're right. I mean, you're talking generality. So what do you think the
Like I want to see a cop. leaving his post to go take his kid to a ball game in the middle of the day.
They do.
Oh, okay.
So
Is that why crime
they
rates are up?
figure it out.
Yeah, now.
They figure no. There's no crime rates are up for different reasons. It's a whole nother podcast. What do you think the alternative is? Like, what would you?
Some countries.
If you were able, no, forget about other countries for a minute.
Okay.
Because we live where we live, right? Yeah, you could move,
But
though, John.
maybe
you
we
could move.
No, but why can't we follow some of the things other people are trying? I think we should go down to a 4-day work week.
That would be nice.
I think ideally, and maybe it's because I work and I'm one of these annoying people about working, but I think 10 to 3 is like a normal like work. I feel like before and after you're just kind of coasting through the day and you're just finding stuff to look busy. You're not really doing anything. And they've done research on all this that says like an average person has about 6 hours of work in them before they kind of cut out.
That's true. That's true. And I could bore you with some statistics because we did some work on this.
Who did?
His
At
office.
my previous
Oh,
job.
well, share.
No, well, I mean, so the 4-day work week is tough, right? We tried it, and many years ago we had a 4-day work week with one of the groups, but it becomes a nightmare to manage people, because when you have that 4-day work week, you're relying on the people that are supposed to come in. And then
Like if it's a rotating schedule.
Yeah, and it is a rotating schedule because
I guess it would have to be. You need somebody in.
every fourth week, I guess it was, or whatever, you get a 4-day weekend, which was nice.
Wait, why don't just everybody do the
Because
same
then
day?
you get the call in sickers because you can't. Because in some industries,
They can.
you have to be there, right? So I was in the financial industry.
Not
If the
everybody
markets
does
were
it.
open, you had to be there.
That's true.
We
Everybody
also-
would have to do it.
And one more point, we also looked into a work day, Johnny. And you're absolutely right. A lot of the people I worked with, not my particular
It's all right. You don't work there anymore.
function, because I had things to do all day just by proxy, because I was towards the end I was mostly doing projects and stuff. But the people that were doing some of the other work, you're absolutely right. They had free time. They 2 hours of hard work in the morning. They had a middle of the day that was kind of open, unless they had problems to work on. And then the afternoon hit them because markets were closing. They were getting blitzed on things. So some industries just don't work that way, right? And that so you got to weigh that into it. And what you're working, Johnny, what you do probably can be a 10 to 3. And that's a pitch you have to make to your company, I would say. I would pitch that to them. See what they think about that.
Yeah.
I've worked
They'll
in
pay you for 10 to 3, though. You got to understand.
in all of the tech industries I work with. Unfortunately, they all try to be like cooler and hipper, but they're doing it to like trick you. Like every job I've worked at, like, oh, we have workout classes in the morning. We have free breakfast in the morning. We have free lunches. We have after work workout classes and pool games in the office and dinner. And then I started realizing you're only doing that to get me in earlier, because I'll come in early for the workout class at
And
6
you're
o'clock.
I'm done 10 minutes early.
No, even
I'll start
before, like
working.
you'll start at 6 and you're done like 7, and you'll grab like an egg sandwich. Now it's 7:10. You're like, well, what am I going to do for the hour and a half? Let me go to my desk. And the same thing, the free lunch, like, oh, it's in the common space, and now you grab lunch. You're like, well, I might as well go sit at my desk. I'm sitting at my desk. Let me start time. It's all a trick. It's all a trick.
I do think the general like work is family thing, kind of like that. You
bullshit.
mentioned that you felt that way earlier. It's
bullshit.
Talking to Big Mike.
Yeah.
I think that whole notion is it's nice if it's, I guess, sort of organic, right? Like you work in an office and you happen to agree with all the people and you all hang out and you're friends.
Yes.
That's cool. But I think they tried to make it. They have tried. They being like the general. I work in like finance, the general corporate world. I don't know about tech that much, or certain industries I'm sure completely different. But from my experience, when they try to do this whole like family thing, it's not. They don't care. They don't at all want you to have fun at work. They want you to work. But their idea being, well, if we make this whole community that they'll all like coming in and they'll work harder. But I don't want my life to be spent at work. I don't happen to, at my, where I work, we're vastly different ages and stuff in my office. It's a smaller group. I don't, really hang out with anybody at work. They're all very nice people. No problems with them. We have,
So you're antisocial.
No, we have work functions. It's just not.
I agree with Michael.
It's just
He's
not a
antisocial.
situation. That's not true. It's just not a situation in which I'm. It makes sense for me and them to hang out. Like I don't have children. Most of the people in my office have children. They already. I'm not going to be on a Wednesday night. Like, hey, we got out late. Let's go to the bar. They're going home. They have kids. It just doesn't. For me,
Wednesday. That was Monday through
no.
Thursday for us.
Right. But that you would go out because you guys were all, I'm assuming around the same age and would hang out.
But I'm on
But
the
it-
other
we were.
side.
It doesn't.
were.
But it's not even about if it works for you. I'm saying the idea of it. I have a family, and my actual family. So maybe some people don't, and they need it at work. I don't. I have friends. I have family. I want to spend time with them that I already agree with outside of being forced to sit next to them, despite the fact that I like my coworkers. I am forced to be like.
agree.
The
Okay,
only
first of
relationship
all,
I have with them is forced.
You're not forced to be anywhere.
Well, you know what,
And
forced-
I want to get back to Johnny's point about that they trick you into doing things. I'm pretty sure that's the way the Roman army got their soldiers, right? Because I think they got like stipend and stuff, right? I mean, this has been going on for centuries. You give somebody a little something, so they do a little more for you, right?
That's what it
do,
is.
Or do something for you. I'm asking again, what's the alternative though? Like, so let's just say, yes, when I first started working, it was generally you were working with all people the same age. You all had the same ideas, the same thoughts, and you had the same and it was a much different environment back then. You happen to be working with a group of people that not all around the same age, not all the same type of person, I guess, if you want to say it like that. So what's your alternative though? Like, would a 4-day work week make it better for you, or would you rather be in an environment where you're surrounded by people that are more? I don't want to say.
I
that.
think
I'm using the wrong word.
I know this whole podcast is about us being angry and generally complaining. And I know I'm coming off very complainy about the work thing, right? Which I'm
with
okay
that.
with because
I'm
I don't.
okay with it.
But the alternative, like a 4-day work week, I think would drastically increase quality of
Absolutely.
life. To have 2 weekend days, because okay, I understand it sounds very like, oh, that's whatever, saying Sunday isn't a weekend day, but it doesn't feel like a weekend day.
Sunday's a weekend
Friday
day
you
up until
work.
about 4:00. Then I got to
I'll
get
give
on
you
the
that.
couch.
Okay, half.
That's what
I'll give you half a day.
Settle in.
I'll completely
and
give
be
you half
prepared
a day
tomorrow.
for Sunday.
But that's the result of my childhood, because that's what you did on Sunday. You had afternoon dinner, and then by 7:00 you were watching Disney. That was the end of getting ready for school the next day.
Yeah, yeah.
That was my upbringing, I think.
But with
No,
all,
but that makes sense. I mean, everybody works on Monday, and it's the
that's
worst
true.
day. So Sundays, you get that dread, you get that
you
weekend.
get that, the Sunday blues.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I mean, it's a day. Friday feels ish like a week, weekend, obviously. But
Well,
you
you get
work.
Friday night,
But you're
so,
working, right? You
yeah.
get Friday. So I guess you get 2 full days because you get
You
second half of
don't, though.
Friday. Well,
No, I get what
You
you're
know.
saying, but psychologically,
to the big work people in the room.
So let me ask
Yeah.
Johnny. 4-day work week versus if you had 5 days, 10 to 3. What do you think would be? I had
So-
again. Let me just quickly 7 to 3. I had a 7 to 3 job. So I had from 3:00, little things that dentist appointments, doctor appointment, whatever you could take care of in the afternoon with a 7 to 3 job. It's a lot more difficult if you get out at 6. I get that. So anyway, Johnny, 4-day work week versus a 10 to 3 shift.
so
5
both
days a week.
have their perks to me because, like you said, not everybody gets out at 3, right? So you're getting out at 5 or 6. By the time you get home, it's 7:00, let's say. By the time you unwind, you can't, how do parents support their children, go to things, do a second activity, whatever. But I also feel like you already have me there. Let me just finish it all out and give me more time off at the tail end, right? A 3-day weekend to me feels better because, one, I'm the same as Michael here. Like Friday, I'm enjoying Friday night, but I hated all day Friday already. So now I'm just getting past. Saturday, I truly love from the minute I wake up to the minute I go to bed. But unfortunately, either Saturday or Sunday becomes a day of chores, running errands, going grocery shopping, and all the other things you have to. And you got to fit in everything else if you have children. Well, let me get out of the house and let me do something with them because I couldn't do anything all week. Sunday, you wake up, and like you're saying, yeah, you're enjoying it because you're just walking up and there's a full day in your face.
Yep.
But I'm way earlier than you. Around probably noon, I'm like, fuck. I got to go to work tomorrow. And then my day starts depleting and depleting. To tell you how bad I hate Sundays.
That's sad.
Like me and Leonora will she'll oh, we have this plan, we're doing this. Like this Sunday we're going to visit friends of hers. I'm like, all right, what time? She said 4:00. I'm like, 4:00? 4:00 I want to be on the couch mentally preparing that tomorrow's work, because in my head I'm losing my personal time again,
I agree.
So I want, I don't know why in my head it makes sense to sit home and do nothing at that hour rather than be out. And I guess also the fact is when you're doing things, time flies. right? When you're having,
yeah.
when you're with friends, you're having fun. So if I'm going somewhere with her and we're gonna have a few drinks, we're gonna have fun. 4 o'clock is gonna get to 9 o'clock in a second.
Yeah.
In a second, and next thing I know, I'm sitting at my desk again, and I'm pissed and I'm annoyed at the world again.
You know, my Sundays have started. That feeling has started to bleed into my Saturdays, where I'll be out Saturday night, and let's say it's 1-2 a.m. having a couple of drinks with my friends. I'll like pause and have like a moment of realization, like my weekend's over now,
Right.
because I'm gonna wake up tomorrow late because I'm out,
Exactly.
and then I'm gonna be. It's Monday, so like I
Right.
might as well be backtrack. I'm like, I guess I get a couple more drinks in me. I'm going home,
Exactly.
and I'm going to work.
And that's true too, because now on a Friday night, you're thinking about all that. Like, do I stay out till 3 a.m? Because if I stay out till 3 a.m, I'm gonna sleep later Sunday, and now I've lost part of my Sunday.
I'll
so
sleep till 2 on a Saturday. I'm like, I have no Saturday now.
Yeah.
My Saturday's done.
You guys need life coaches.
I don't think a lot of
And,
coaches
and, a
can handle
planner,
it.
and a planner because, you
No,
know.
what
No,
we
you
need
a
is the
planner.
world to be fixed and better. And let's go back. And I don't know all this stuff, and we can research it, and maybe you guys will know the answer. But I feel like I've read and I feel like I know. Like back in the day, way, way back in the day, work wasn't as long as it was. Right? People
When it
didn't
was
work.
just like farming.
But
how
whatever they
old-
did,
how
like
old we going?
I don't know, but I know it wasn't. I heard it wasn't as long, and then it was more like when Ford Company came around and he created the assembly line and the hours, and apparently people worked more then. But then again, I could be all wrong on all this, but apparently they weren't selling enough cars, so they gave people like weekend time off. So people would buy cars to go travel
do stuff.
and have fun. All my facts could be wrong there, but it sounds about right.
No,
Hey, well, who cares about the
probably-
facts,
Okay,
right?
so let me hit you guys with some more
feelings thing.
questions. So we can't fix the world. We certainly can't fix the
We
United
can
States.
fix the
How?
world.
You're gonna go out there and pick it?
No, because picking
Well,
in the,
let
it's
me,
not-
but let me ask
it's
you this.
not-
No, okay, I get it, and I get angry at people that get
it's
angry.
crazy.
About this.
He's not upset
He's a big
about
work guy.
this
No,
one.
I know this.
It's crazy. I know he
I've
loves
done
to
this.
work.
He
I know
loves
that.
it.
He loves to work.
I do love to
But
work.
you love to do any kind of work.
Anything.
Like
That's true.
Anything to keep me busy.
But your leisure time is work.
work.
No.
You come home and you're like,
Right.
I'm going to
No,
build
'cause I
something.
still-
Exactly.
And you are just working all
You
day,
are but
drilling
so
holes and stuff.
Wouldn't you prefer not to go to a work environment where someone's making you go and work on your own, like any project you want?
Yes, that would be beautiful. But
Right.
here's the thing. Let me ask you this. You are where you are, right?
Right.
Other than going out and like either finding something that suits you better. Like
I'm still not gonna
you
be
could
happy.
You could be a Sherpa for like Kilimanjaro or whatever.
I would still be unhappy.
Why?
Because I have
Because
to
it
go
becomes
there every
work.
Doing something
day.
you enjoy.
It becomes work.
Doing something you love
Yeah,
every
I know.
minute
You know,
of the day.
I had the Disney thing. A friend of mine, he wanted he swore to me he was going to retire, move down to Florida, and work at Disney. And I'm like, listen, you're going to be miserable. You're going to be miserable as you are here once it becomes a job. I said, you only know Florida when you go to Disney. You only know it as a vacation. You got to go there and you got to start sweeping up, puke, and you got to like, take the garbage on the ground. You're going to be unhappy. You're not going to have the same experience.
with
So
the
I get
lizard
that.
people.
I do get that. But I guess my question is there something you could do in your life right now to make it feel better? So instead of Johnny backing up to 12 o'clock, right, on a Sunday, can maybe you could think about extending your day like 4 more hours? Like, don't hit the couch till 4.
I feel hamstrung.
Really?
I shouldn't have to. This is the thing. This is my issue with it, right? Generally, I shouldn't have to work my life around work. Like,
Yeah.
What bugs me, I generally don't like platitudes in general, right? That people but you always hear, right? Like nobody thought about work on their deathbed, or nobody on their deathbed was like, I wish I worked that extra Thursday.
I'm going to think about all the things I didn't finish. Does that count?
Yeah, personal
But that's
stuff.
great.
Personal stuff.
You
You know
really
why
are
you
gonna
didn't
think about
finish
work?
them? Because you had to work.
I mean, you're gonna think you're gonna think about sitting in the office. Like, I
you're
wish
right.
I finished that Excel spreadsheet in 2007. Like it's just not. But people say that, but then you're not actually supposed to act like that. Like I believe that. I believe that work at the end of the day is meaningless in our lives, right? Generally, like some people do meaningful work, right? Like if I joined the Peace Corps, that is meaningful work. Right.
Yeah.
My work at the end of the day is meaningless to me, other than it, keeps me a roof over my head and food, which is, I don't want to complain for having a job in a situation which the opposite would be to be homeless and not have a job. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Like that. So I'm not complaining in that regard. I think
guys-
the work system is flawed. I think it's not made like for real humans. I mean, think about the unnaturalness, I think, of in the winter, leaving in the dark, you work through the light in an office and then you go home in the dark. You don't see sun
That's
for months.
Okay, so I got a
for
question.
months.
I
You
got a
don't see
question for
sun.
you.
Yeah.
I got a question for you. Good. I'm gonna pose this one to Johnny. I want to see how Johnny answers this question
If it's I'm
because
just
I
gonna
know
hate
Johnny
it.
very well.
Yeah.
I do know Johnny very well when it comes to certain things.
Yep.
So our podcast blows up,
Yeah.
right? We're making podcast after podcast, and we need people working around us,
Yeah.
right? Mm-hmm. So now we're kind of the top end of this food chain, right?
Yeah.
We need somebody to do editing,
Let's hope.
right?
Yeah.
And the editing, let's just say the editing takes 8 hours a day, just for argument's sake,
Okay.
right? What do you do for that 8 hour a day guy or girl that's doing the editing for us, like to make their life happy?
I would be a great boss person.
I think so too.
I know this was for Johnny. I want to put that
I
out
think
there.
you would. I think you would.
Well,
So
let Johnny.
I
talk.
know. I'm saying it. I know it's Johnny's thing. I'm just saying.
Because I know Johnny. Last week he handed me a mic stand.
I know why
and
you
said,
know.
Test this mic stand.
I know why you're
like he
asking
couldn't
Johnny,
put a
not
mic
me.
into a
I
mic stand.
didn't have the mics.
You could have just put the stand in front and you said, "Oh yeah, this is about the right height."
That's a worker thing.
Anyway,
That's a worker thing.
No,
well, I was
because
the worker.
I get it.
And
I know.
Johnny
I
was
know
the
why.
boss.
I know why you asked Johnny.
No,
I was
it's
just,
got this space, and I didn't know how much space this was. That changes it. It's 4 inches or so.
I could have told you an inch,
So
inch and a quarter.
I'm great at giving orders. All right.
Yes, you are. Go ahead.
Look, so if we are lucky enough and this is taking off and we have a crew of team and helping us, this kind of, I don't think, and again, we're not there yet, and so I don't know, but I don't think this is going to be a 9 to 5 job. So yeah, we hire an editor. The four of us are sitting here and we record our episode for 45 minutes. Maybe it takes 2 hours. This to me isn't a job right now because we're having fun. We'll laugh when we're enjoying. I want to get a beer. I'm getting a goddamn beer. Like, we're having fun.
Right.
So it's great. But now the people working for us,
They have to work.
they do, but they work from home, have a beer. You got to finish this by this timeline. I don't care if you do it 3 hours at 5 in the morning. I don't care if you do it 2 more hours at 2. Work it into your schedule and get it done.
It's flexibility that you. That
But
you
most
desire
jobs
in
don't
life.
give you flexibility. They want
Not
you,
to that
and maybe
extent.
that's what
Definitely
Michael's
not to
saying
that
too.
extent.
They want you there from this time to this time,
Okay.
and you can't do anything else in your day, and you're trying to fit it all now from 6 on. Most things, like again, what can you really do at 6 o'clock on, right? Like, so if you do have a job, a lot of my friends have kids that are in sports. Like those sports start at 4, 5, 6 o'clock. I'm never going to see any of that stuff.
It's fair.
It's ridiculous.
When you're ready, I have a follow up.
of course, he's a sycophant for work, man. I've never understood it. I know it's an older,
you just
like, generational
try
thing.
and look at it from both sides.
Okay. What's your other
so
follow-up?
Johnny's thing for the crew, right, was I'll give them ultimate flexibility.
Ultimate.
And what do you think, Mike? What would you give them? That's what you would give them, ultimate flexibility?
For this kind of role, yes.
Because I have a different thought.
Yeah, editing. I mean, okay. Of course, it depends on the thing because if we have hypothetically, I know this would be way down the line for us.
Next
but like
week.
if we needed, yeah.
In about
Well,
a
I mean,
month.
that'd be
We
nice.
should blow up in
That'd be
about a
nice.
month.
I wouldn't complain about it. No, but if we had let's say a sound guy, right, that had to be here when we're doing it because he's a sound guy,
Hating his life
Now it's
because we
not
have
a-
to wake him up at 8 in the morning.
right? Like me today.
But
Yeah,
look,
I get that.
But look how much you're smiling already because
But
it's fun.
this is fun. This is a
It's
fun
fun.
thing. And to
And
your
our-
point
You
earlier
don't seem
about
very angry right now.
No, well, I am, but it's cathartic. I'm getting it out about something else, not about that I had to wake up early. No, but I guess what you mentioned about not the flexibility. So, okay, when you say why would I think be a better boss, this is the flexibility. It's partially that. Like I said, if there's certain things need to be done at certain times. Like I understand in my industry, I couldn't have the flexibility of maybe like Johnny's. I couldn't do 3 a.m. because I have clients that I speak to actively, and they work. So unless I'm like, hey, you guys got to start working at my hours, which obviously I'm not going to do, I'm forced to work at that. I'm okay with. I understand that.
Your job, in my opinion, and I don't know too much about it, but your job is an ideal 4-day work week because you guys
100%.
share a lot of work.
And we can get it, and
There's-
you can get it done.
There's multiple people.
The
but
issue
again,
would be some people are going to have to be in 5 days a week. Somebody has to be available to our clients.
somebody. But if you and someone else supports a client,
Yes.
right? I mean, the challenge there is to make sure that you and that person aren't off on the same day,
Yes.
right? So in creating a schedule, right, you can do that.
Sounds easy. Every
The
retail shop
problem
does
is
that.
the
Yeah,
problem
I think
is
his point would be sometimes it falls on a Wednesday.
No,
Your
no.
day might be.
No, the problem is, someone calls in sick on that day that you're off. That other person calls in sick. It's that dedication that you have
That
to
I'd have
worry
to go
about.
in.
You have to make sure that you're dedicated enough to be there on those days. Right?
Did you just say no?
I said I'm not.
No,
Which is no.
you are.
So,
You're,
yeah,
you're in
same
every
idea.
day. You go to work every day.
No,
you're,
of course.
You're
Of course.
good.
I mean,
The
I
other
meant
side-
filling in. I thought
Well,
you were
my
saying,
follow-up, my follow-up question, and I'll ask because one of the things that I always had throughout my career was a profit sharing. I had bonuses and things like that. Right? Is there money matter in
what
this
is
at
the
all?
thing
No.
that would make it better?
Well, so my thought would be I would want to compensate people financially,
I don't
right?
want
Because
that.
that gives them some freedom, right?
Freedom on those few
doesn't,
hours
it
and few
doesn't.
days.
No,
you
not
have
few
off.
hours, freedom in their future, right? Like
No.
you
I
work hard to
disagree.
get to a point in life that you don't have to work hard anymore.
Yeah, for most people, 65.
I don't even.
but your
I
job
disagree
is
with that
providing you
idea.
a means for all the other things
No,
you want
I
to
disagree
do,
with
right?
this
I don't like
because the more you get paid,
The more you
ideally,
buy.
well, not even the more you buy. That's on you. I will say, like, if you get paid more and then so your living goes up, so you're like, now I need to work more. That's kind of on you. Like, that's a choice you make actively. If you want to buy a nicer car, and you deserve it, you work more. But that's ancillary. The actual at work to get paid more, as far as I understand, most places means you're taking on more responsibility. So you're not getting paid more. Like, you're not doing the same job. My salary is not going to go up. 10 years down the line,
No.
I'm not going to get paid 3 times what I get paid now and do the exact same job.
No,
I'm going
not
to
saying
have
that.
more responsibility.
We had a profit sharing program in our job. So at the end of the year, we got 15%
You
of
got a
our
bonus.
salary as a bonus.
Yeah.
Right?
What is that?
For not doing any extra
a
work,
bonus.
just
It's a bonus.
because the
It's a
company did
bonus.
Come
well.
on, it's what is that?
All right, so I mean, money
you're
doesn't
getting-
mean anything to you guys.
No, but
No.
you're getting a tiny percentage of anything. I mean, what's the CEO make?
why
at
don't you
that
guys
company?
get off the whole money system and just go to like a clam or a
I
Because I
almost want
understand
to.
we live. I understand the world.
Johnny
we
can
live
become a
in.
Sherpa.
I totally would.
I understand the world we live in.
If you said,
well, I'm asking, what's your alternative?
so
I
if you
wish-
said I can have a 4-day work week, or you work the 5 days and I'll give you another $1,000, I'd be like, keep your $1,000. 2,000, keep your 2. I don't think I'd give in. The day off is so it's priceless.
I
I'd
don't know
rather
what I'd
have
trade for
more
that.
time. I'd rather have more time. I want to spend time with my friends, with my family, with myself. I just want.
Except Friday afternoon, Sunday afternoon after 12.
Then I want to be on the
Then you
couch.
don't wanna be-
and
Well,
because
with his
you don't wanna be
family
with
and
with
friends,
my
but on
family,
his
right on my couch.
they want to come over and have
But-
a beer.
Right. But if I didn't have work on Monday, I'd stay at someone's house later on Sunday.
This is my only real solution because I was thinking about it this week when we were talking about some topics, right? And work came up, and I was at work and I was obviously mad because I get mad at work. It's not
angry.
it's not my favorite thing
You're
to do.
angry.
Right.
That's what you do. That's why you're here.
And I know I dwell, and a lot of times I do think it's very, and I admit it about myself that it's, I guess, it's ungrateful of me because I have a good job, I have a house, I pay for my food, so I understand that. To be fair, like I like having a job in the idea, in the sense that it gives me money and whatnot.
Right.
But I think that growing up, I never realized because I always hated school, and I always thought work would be better because I was getting paid.
I used to
I
think
always
the
felt like
same.
that. So I didn't think it mattered what I did. So finance, like I never had a passion for finance. It was just like business. My whole family worked in business. It's an easy, like not easy thing to do, but it's at least easy to break into. There's every school has a college has a business program, no issues, right? So I did all that, and then I get into the actual workforce, and I don't like it. It's at least what I do, I consider pretty boring. It's mostly like data stuff. It's not, I don't know. There's no interest to me. Right. If I could go back, I would just have to tell my younger self. And I know people say this, right? But no kid is gonna listen to just some guy going, do your work at your passion. And also that's harder than people. My passion. I would love to be a football coach. That takes years and a lot. And I'm not saying effort, but I already have a job.
Should have listened to your father.
No, right. I'm saying I understand that people say this, right? But it's hard to understand when you're a kid because I'm just thinking I'll just get a job and it'll be fine. My whole family works. They'll do fine.
Right.
I want a house. I want to,
So
I agree.
So you can't. Okay, so you shouldn't be hopeless at this point in your life that you couldn't do something fulfilling. It does take
it's
work,
all-
and it would take some sacrifice.
right. It
but
takes
if it was
extra
some-
work.
But
It
yeah.
takes more work.
But you have some good
Wait.
inroads. Like if you actually wanted to do that, let's say you did want to be a football coach.
Yeah.
Your situation right now
He's saying Dad would take care of you.
You can no, Dad can't take care of anybody.
He's got no good connections. He's not a
No,
football
he'll let
coach.
you.
No, no, no.
He'll pay all your
Oh, but
bills
that would
while
be-
you
you
redo
have
your
to
life.
I couldn't do that.
But I guess I could see why you're angry now, because you feel like you've passed the point where you could do something
Yeah.
Well,
that you
no.
want to do, but you really haven't.
He has.
I have.
He has.
I have.
No, he
I went
hasn't.
to
He
school.
has.
Look, anything I
You
do now
can't
is going to be I'm taking
rewind.
a huge cost
Right.
to do it. Right? I live on my own. If I decided I'm going to go full into coaching, I'm going to quit my job and become a full-time football coach, right? I mean, okay, I couldn't do that immediately, obviously. But let's say I started coaching high school, you get like a little stipend, I think, a couple thousand a season. That's not. I have to work a full-time job. Other than that, and now on top of the fact that I'm complaining about my work-life balance for 5-6 months out of the year, I now am working full days, 5 days a week. 6 really, because I have the football games on Saturdays.
If you
5
knew-
days a week practice that are 4 hours, which is okay for changing, but I have to think I'm doing this for how long until I can do it full time. How many full time, football? I mean, there's a lot, obviously, but that I'm going to make the transition in how long that I'm going to be now. So, okay, 5 years. I give myself 5 years. So now I have to work like that for 5 years with the hope that I might get a job at a college. I might.
Okay.
And if I don't, what did I do? I wasted 5 years and I killed all the time that I was trying to get back. I'm trying to get this time back. Right? Like, I think about people my age, relatively out of school and newish to the workforce. I'm a couple years out. But I work my 9 to 5. I go in, I don't slack at work. I get all my work done, obviously. Not because you have to, but I'm not going to leave anybody else stuck with my work. I would never do that. But there's people who enjoy, or at least not enjoy, but they brag about the 80-hour work week. Guys my age, they're like 60, 80 hours every week. I'm there, all Saturday. And I understand the idea of if I work hard now, I'll set myself up later, right? But I don't want to lose my 20s. I guess these guys are okay with it or don't think about it. But like, this is in my mind, a good time in my life to
But
be
you know-
doing stuff. I don't want to wait till I'm 35. Like, that seems like a crazy.
this is
Not
what-
even
That's
that.
a crazy deal to
Because
me.
number one, you're not losing your 20s, first of all, because you're doing everything you want to do.
Me, I am. I'm.
You're doing
I
everything
am. I'm
you
saying
want to do.
I'm talking to the people. There's people who really work 80 hours a week,
There are.
and they think it makes sense because they're going, okay, I'm 25 now, and this stings, right? Law firm, whatever it is, and high stress jobs, more so even than mine. I'm saying, but they're working 80 hours a week, right?
They're all doing
And
it
they're
for
thinking,
future
when I'm
benefit.
35, I'll have a Porsche, I'll be set up, I can retire, whatever. But they're missing 10 years. I'm not choosing that.
Okay.
But not
I
only
feel
that-
slighted on my time, but I'm also not choosing that life. I'm saying that idea is already like. I was just relating it to how I feel like if I said, okay, I want to change jobs. I want to be a football coach. That's something I'm actually passionate about.
If you
So I get a
knew-
job, and luckily I played football in high school and I know my coach. I could probably get a job coaching high school football faster than a random person, as far as like connects. But you get maybe a stipend as an assistant coach, probably nothing. But it's 6 days a week for 6 months. So I'd have to give up my time in that period with the hopes of getting an actual coaching job, which that's a big risk. That's a big
So-
gamble in my life now.
But let me ask something. If you knew that at the end of a period of time, right,
Mm-hmm.
you would get a coaching job that gave you a sustainable life, right? You're not head coach at the NFL.
Right.
Maybe you were an
College
assistant
coach
coach
somewhere.
in a big college, right? And you were
Or head
making a
coach at a
decent
small college,
salary,
whatever.
right? What would the period of time you'd be willing to give up to do that?
If it was guaranteed, I signed a contract and they said you got to do this.
Yeah,
Your
at
normal
the,
job.
At the
and
end of
I'm
this,
saying
it's
I know.
guaranteed. How much time would you be willing to put in? 7 days a week, 9 months a year, 8 hours a day.
Overall, like total hours.
Would that be okay with you? Because
Wait, you're saying once I get the job,
I'm
or
saying
you
that
have to
you
work
and Jai
extra.
have a bleak outlook
You
on
have
life.
to work extra.
You guys think your life is over. So.
No, not that it's over. Like not that my life is
No,
over.
but what I'm saying,
I've started looking at things a lot differently in the last few years. I wish I would have thought of this years and years ago. But my thing is kind of like what Michael was saying. Like so many people work for like tomorrow or the future or when they retire. I might die tomorrow. I want to enjoy it while I'm living, while I'm breathing, while I'm young enough to do the things I want to do. Like people like start traveling at 65, they retire. How yeah, it's probably
much you actually
fun.
get?
But imagine traveling when you're more agile or you're more fit or whatever. Maybe you are at 65, 70. But for most people it's not, right? Like I don't know, it just makes no sense to put this many hours into for the later.
Listen,
I want to do it now.
it's okay. So what do you feel like you missed out on in life so far because of
it's
your work?
not-
No. Well, but I mean, I'm asking Johnny. I'm not
5
asking you,
days
Mike.
a week.
I'm going to shut your mic off,
You
Mike.
didn't say Johnny.
I'm directing this to
You
Johnny.
didn't say Johnny that time.
Because
You are now.
Because Johnny's sitting here saying, you know,
Listen,
I want to travel. And
I
I'm,
know.
I'm sitting here saying, Johnny travels a lot.
You know.
Johnny does a lot of things. Like, Johnny has a lot of goals, you know, in life, like, you know, starting a podcast and stuff, right? And so what did you miss out on so far because of your work?
I've missed out on
'Cause
doing
you were
that.
quite flexible in some of the jobs that I remember you being
I
in.
was pretty flexible, but not as flexible as I want to be. Look, I don't want to give 5 days, 10-hour days away anymore. I just don't. And I
Anymore.
don't think
Anymore.
Well, I never really did. And the problem is until COVID, people didn't realize you
That you
can
could
do
do it.
that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
And now
true.
people realize
You
it.
even said that earlier,
Yeah.
Mike.
No, COVID was a ruination for a lot.
It was a wake up call.
Ruination.
Well, because
Beautiful word.
He's a work guy. He really wants to work
He
a
really
lot.
does.
I don't
no, don't get me wrong.
take my job.
All right, I don't want to go into details.
Yeah, why don't
Work
you
for
do,
me.
do
Do my
our
job.
jobs for us?
I'll live. You get to work.
The thing is, what I'm saying is, you know, you have to make something of your life every day, right? You got to get up and say, look, I got to do it. Now, did I have to do 8 hours a day? No. There were times in my job where I literally told my boss, I'm just going to count my travel time into my day. Is that all right? So if I was working, you know.
That's nice.
Yeah. If I was working, if I had a, you know, if I was 9 to 5, I'm like, I'm going to leave my house at 9. I'm going to, you know, and I was able to do that for a little while until they caught up with me.
Right.
Right. But, you know, it was fun for me while it lasted. I just think
Look,
I don't see the solution. And what gets me is that I see you guys projecting out, you know, like, this is it for me. It's done. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to trudge through this for the rest of my life. You got to find other ways to make yourself happy.
it's impossible. I feel like I'm walking around with wet clothes all day. Like,
Now I get it.
no, that's how I
Yeah,
feel.
I think
I hate wet
you
clothes.
truly don't
Yeah.
see our perspective on it, which is fine. I get that.
I'm having a hard
But
time
I'm
with
saying, like, it's not because it's not even really about like what did you give up in your life. I haven't been working for that long. I'm not coming from this like at 70 saying I wish I didn't throw my life away at work. That's not what I'm saying. The whole thing to me seems like it's got flaws. Like
So many.
this will be another episode, but the education system. I don't think it's a thing that's like, okay, well, you don't like the education. What fixes it? What's a thing? It's not. It's the whole thing is
system.
built wrong.
Whole system.
The
Mike,
whole
when
thing
was the last-
is built wrong.
When
you know
was
what
the
I mean?
last time you had a day off? It was during between
day off,
Christmas
like,
and
from
New
work?
Year's. You were off, right?
I took off. Yeah, I took the week off.
And what was the one thing that you wanted to do on those days off that you really wanted to do so bad?
Nothing.
Nothing. Exactly.
Nothing.
Nothing.
I wanted to do whatever I wanted to do.
Exactly.
I sat down. I could watch TV. I could do anything that I felt inclined to do at any moment. Like, how is that not
agree.
freedom? How are you What is the thing about that that's crazy?
I agree with him.
Like, I didn't do anything productive because the rest of my life I'm working, right? If that was every day, maybe I would have gone for a run. I don't know.
Maybe.
I go to the gym sometimes, right? But it's not
But
about
no.
it's not about what I'd be getting back. I'm not saying like I could be doing this other thing so much better than work. It's about the fact that it's
Listen, I understand.
Mike, what
I
I think-
do understand you guys.
What he's saying also, he's got a week off, so he did nothing. Most people do that because you're on the go so much with work. You're doing it. When you finally have that time, you're like, I don't want to do shit. And again, it also goes back to when you're having fun, you're doing things, time flies. So you go away for a week to your favorite place in the world. Next thing you know, you're back at work already. And you're exhausted because you spent that whole week running around and enjoying time. Listen,
Maybe we should get your bosses in here and ask them.
maybe they'll listen.
Maybe we should. Maybe we see what their perspective is. You know,
They
like-
want
like-
everybody at
that's-
work.
That's crazy. It'd be completely different.
The whole system is broken.
But anybody who has like a high up boss, I mean, there's like levels to any bosses, right? I work at a small firm, so there's only really one boss. Any boss, a lot of them like working, like you. So if they like working, there's no issue to them. They like going in. It's this thing that they enjoy doing. Which
Some people are workaholics.
which is fine. Like,
That's true.
People who like working, I support them. It's a thing they like.
They can do it.
They're doing a thing they like to do. I can't do a thing I like to do
Exactly.
because I'm doing the thing they like to do.
Yeah.
That's
There you
not.
go.
I mean, it's just the right. If we're gonna allow workaholics to be a thing and say some people just really like it,
Yeah.
how am I crazy for not?
Some
You know,
people
or
like
wanting
that.
to do a
I'm-
thing that I
I'm-
like.
I don't-
But they act like, but you don't get a medal
I don't
for liking
completely
work.
disagree with you guys.
And unlike you, Michael, like you really like working, which is insane. But most people
just
want to
made the
get
best
away.
of it.
I met someone the other day who I was talking about it. Like the work-life balance and stuff, and he was like, "Oh, I love working. I'll go to work." I'm like, You didn't strike me as that kind of person." His legit answer after that was like, "I like getting away from my wife and my kids."
That's crazy.
Like I could get
I
away.
never had that problem.
But that's what I'm saying. But most people will go to work for that. I could find something a lot more fun to do to get away from anyone.
That's true.
yeah,
Like,
no, I mean that's fair.
I'll go to the basement, lock the door, and play video games. I mean, I'll get away from
Listen,
it somehow.
I don't disagree with anything that you guys are saying, to be honest with you. And I get it. 5 days a week.
feels like you're-
It's not even on 5 days a
I
week.
fought for a 4-day work week where I was. I couldn't get it. I fought for,
But it's not just a
flexible
5-day
time
week.
and things
It's
like
also the amount of days off you get in a year. I've always worked for companies that were unlimited. Unlimited is a scam.
that's a scam.
It's a scam
There's no
because
such
now
thing
you
as
don't know,
100%, 100%.
right? Because they
I
don't
always
know.
knew that was
They
a
don't know how many days you get, so
Right.
you take less, right? But the average person, let's say the average person probably gets 2 weeks a year, right? So you get that. So you get working 5 days, 9-hour days. You're getting 2 weeks off, and you're working until majority of people working at 65. How does that math make sense? It doesn't.
I don't think.
No,
That
it
doesn't
doesn't.
make sense.
And maybe
no,
65
listen,
is going
I
up.
agree with you guys. I guess
No?
my stance is, if I can't fix it, I got to make the best of it, right? I don't want to have.
But why
I
can't
don't
we
want to have the
fix it?
miserable, gloomy outlook. Oh,
But why can't we all fix it? Why?
Well, what do you want to
why
do?
is
I said, you
society-
wanna go- I'll make picket signs.
I don't think. But we've said this in
Who do
last
you wanna do?
podcast too. And we
Who do we go to
we
fix
don't
this
we
problem?
don't want to start a
It's
war.
not a thing. Yeah, right. We're not.
We're not going to start a war.
This isn't
but
revolution.
The government wants to keep putting up these mirrors to distract us, right? So as society, like for a minute there, we had quiet quitting, and that kind of faded
Yeah.
away because they
Yeah,
threw
right.
something
They-
else in
and they
there,
started
right?
catching
it.
Like we as people have said we don't want to do this anymore. We kind of go for the change, and we kind of and we get a little inch, and then they distract us with some crazy thing that's going on with the world,
Yes.
and point finger, and now everybody's like, oh, what's going on? And they forget what we were all going to do.
So listen, you guys are talking about a higher societal problem, right? Which I agree is
Which
there.
work- I'm saying
no,
it is.
I agree. No, I agree that there is a higher societal problem with this whole thing.
Yeah.
I guess my
I don't think I can
Me-
fix it. That's
me-
why I have to do it, and that's why I'm mad about it.
Well, that's
you keep
why-
asking how to fix it.
No,
if I
no.
knew how to fix it,
and that's why
I wouldn't be doing this.
But that's why I say, you have to make the best of it until you find that how you could fix it thing, right? I'm just saying, make the best of it. I mean, you guys are
I don't wanna make the
sitting
best
here
of it.
saying, I don't get a day off, and I know both of you had days off recently. You just did nothing.
I didn't say I don't
right?
get a day off. I have
did-
vacation.
No,
I have
no, but you're
vacation days.
saying
I have an allotted amount of vacation
If I
days.
had that
Allotted,
extra day a
exactly.
week, I'd be so
Oh,
much
wait.
more productive.
No, I didn't
And not
say
only that,
productive.
you have an allotted
I
amount
would
of
want
days.
an extra day.
I just feel
I
bad
want
ab-
an extra day
I guess
back
I
in my
just feel
life.
bad about your gloomy outlooks, like knowing
have a
knowing
gloomy
that you
outlook.
guys go on vacations and you enjoy your life.
Wait, I
said I'm not being
and you do all the
ungrateful.
things
Hold
you want
up.
to do with your friends and family.
said
You
I'm
bring
not being
something else that
ungrateful.
kind of bothers me now too. Yeah, we have an allotted amount of days, right? Whatever those days are. But you have to request them, and they can turn them down. So I can't even live my free time when I want to live my free time. They tell me if I can or not.
I have a moral issue with the idea of requesting time off.
there's a larger societal problem. I agree with that.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
You have a problem with requesting time off?
No, the idea of it.
that you have to request it.
This is my gripe when my office went to unlimited. We went to unlimited days because I said, and I understand the idea from the boss's perspective of we can't have these two people out at the same time, right? But personally, that's not my problem.
Yeah.
I'm a worker.
Right.
Scheduling isn't me.
Right.
I need to take off this day, right? That they can tell me no. With unlimited, it becomes difficult because you don't have a day.
Right.
When it was initially, I believe it worked for a long time where you earned the days as you worked, right? You earn, a quarter of a day. When that was the case, I felt like it was my day that I worked for. So if I want it, you have no right to deny me. With unlimited, there's no way to that. You know what I'm saying? But when I earn the day, but because the boss says our work is more important than whatever you want to do on that day,
Right.
right? So yeah, maybe I could say, look, I don't care. It's somebody's getting married. My best friend's getting married, and they're like, sorry. I'd be like, Mom, I'll leave. I gotta go. I will quit. I'm not. You know what I'm saying? But they don't care. It doesn't matter. Like no boss really cares about the worker. Some
That's
bosses
not
are
true.
nice people.
That's not true.
No, but they're.
I was a boss.
No, hold
once.
on.
I cared about my
Let me
people.
explain. No, you care about the people as people, not as workers.
Yeah,
You
I cared about
meet the
people.
person, but as a worker, it's just a body in an organization. You, right, Michael, meet the person, whatever, and you become friends with them, not the work. If they start not working, you're gonna fire them, right? You're going to report them because they're a worker. You might like the person, but as a worker, you have a different right. Or not right. You have a different set of responsibilities.
Okay, yes. There's a
Right,
yes,
so they don't care about
that's
me.
a societal problem
Right.
with the way work is
as
structured.
as a boss, they don't care about me as a worker. They might like me. They might meet me, who's a person, but as a job, they'll fire me. Why would they not? I have a bad month, right? I go through seasonal depression, let's say, and I can't work. Like I can work, but I'm really slow and whatever. What are they? You think they're just gonna be like, oh, it's okay. Every November you can't work? No.
No,
Like they don't.
I don't.
And I'm working, and I'm
I'm not
working.
disagreeing. I guess I just feel bad, like I said, about you guys' pessimistic outlook
Feel
of your
bad
life.
because if you
All
want,
right, you should.
I have
You
more
should.
questions why I'm concerned with work-life balance. Let's go with sick days, right? So some people only get 5 sick days. Again,
That's a weird one.
most people.
That's always a weird
like,
one.
so
too.
you're now telling that person you can only get sick for 5 days in a whole year.
No.
Like yes, because technically
After
sick
that,
days are for
it's
sick,
unpaid.
and then
you
per-
can
right,
still get sick, but then it's unpaid.
right.
It's wrong, but
Well,
how
people
many
take
times
advantage
in life
of
were
it.
you sick more than 5 days? For real?
I've been sick for 3 days.
For real sick.
in a year. If I get sick twice, it's more than 5 days. If I get sick twice in a year,
Sick like you can't
aggregate,
work
it's
sick.
gonna be more than 5 days.
But why am I expected to go to work when I
Why-
don't feel well?
Yeah, what do you mean? Like
You're not.
can't work sick. I'm a little sick.
You
I
can
have
work
to
from
work.
home when you're sick now.
Right,
That
because
we
that's
figured that
more
out during
important.
COVID.
No,
Right, because you're
I
a big
shouldn't
work
have
guy,
to.
and you're saying work is more important than other things. Work
Crazy.
should be the least important thing in your life.
It should be.
Listen,
Okay,
but
wait.
all of that on a micro level, I guess you would say, right? It depends on who you're working for, right? Like I said, I've
But
had,
it shouldn't be it should
I've
be
had lots of flexibility.
everyone. I've had jobs
right,
where
so-
I had lots of flexibility.
So
with
isn't
it.
it-
I have
isn't it-
and I've
flexibility
had
at my
jobs
work.
where I haven't had flexibility. I'm talking in the big general picture. The system is broken
Yes.
for a lot of people. For some, it works perfectly, but it's not fair that it works for some. It shouldn't be this way. We have to rewrite the whole thing. And I'm going to go back to another one.
All right.
What about like new parents, paternity, maternity? Like why is that not a law somewhere with all companies? Some companies give you 3 weeks. Some companies give you 6 months. Some companies pay. Some companies don't. Some companies give the guy. Some companies don't. What is wrong? Why can't it
We
be?
live in a free market society.
But it's just wrong.
People are allowed to make their own rules.
No.
Yeah, I mean that's
You know
true.
where all the rules
Like,
are the same?
don't
John?
start agreeing with him
hold
now,
on.
Michael.
No, because I know what he's doing. He's trying to lead us down a path of like the socialism thing. I know what he's doing.
Good.
I saw the second he said that. I'm like, hold
No,
on.
I'm just
hold on.
saying.
No,
If
like
you
I
wanna
said
go
before,
somewhere
I
where all
know.
the rules are the same, I can send you some
hold on.
places.
I want to say two things. Like I said before, I understand this comes off as ungrateful. I do have a job, and I am grateful for that.
I'm
right?
very ungrateful.
I think fair. I do think the system, I guess as we can call it, is messed up, right?
Very.
I agree.
I understand also that we all willingly, it's the whole capitalism thing, free market. I accepted a salary. I didn't, I wasn't kidnapped and forced to work at this job. I'm not conscripted. I understand all that. But I think it's kind of like it's a cop out to in modern times say, well, you can leave your job, right? So you're not forced to do it. It's like I'm forced in the sense of I want to live. I'm not. It's a different sort of forced. I get that. I'm not. You know what I mean? I'm not arguing the semantics of it. What I'm saying is, I think it's such a like. Oh, I'm forced to do this job. I'm stuck in these hours. And the answer could always be quit, get a new job, get a better job. Of course, right? Like that's such an
that
easy thing to
easy.
say. How hard
It's
is it?
easy to say. It's not easy to do.
It's not easy to do.
I understand.
Right?
Of course.
Of course. So it's easy to just say, "Well, you don't like your job, get a better one." Like that's the silly. You know what I mean? That's like, oh, you're depressed, be happier. Like it's the same thing. It's just like there's a thing that's bothering you. There's issues in it, right? But it's like, well, just do a better version of it. Get a better one. Find a different job that you like. Whatever the thing is. Ask for more money. That'll make you feel better. Whatever it is, it's all a thing that you are stuck in this route. Like I said before, with my path, like being that I did finance because I thought I would be less, objected to work generally.
Right.
I was like, because I hated school, like I said, and I always thought in my head the issue was I'm not getting paid for this. I'm doing this for free.
I remember this so clear as a child. I used to hate going to school as well. I hated it. And my father would be like, oh, you have it so easy. You don't have, I'm like, you have it better. You get paid for what you do. If they paid me to go to school, I'd go. Never realized that I would end up hating work more than I hate school. Right?
Yeah, I would go back to school now.
I might go back to school as well.
So there is a societal problem with work. We know that, right? And like you said, Johnny, it went from an 8-day to a 9-day. I mean, a 7-hour to an 8-hour. right? And they kind of got you, right? Because what are you gonna? You can't say no.
Yeah, exactly.
We can't fix that societal problem, right? So I guess my stance always
But
was,
why do you
Feel
say
better
we
about it.
can't?
we could, but it would take some work, right? It's going to take, it's going to take us
Everybody
getting out
wake
there.
up tomorrow and call out. Everybody.
Everybody,
Everybody.
the whole world.
The
Revolution.
whole
The whole
country. Let's
country. We'll
start
start
with
with the
our
country, and then we'll fix
In
the
fact,
world
I'm
later
okay
on.
with just starting with our state.
Actually, just yeah, just the city.
Just the city, just New York City. I'm fine with that for now. I'm part of that one.
So
We'll test pilot it for
so
everybody
I've,
else.
I've not even been to like a community board meeting, but if you want to start there, we'll start there. But let's say we can't fix that easily, right?
Right.
We can't fix it tomorrow. My thing always was, let me make the best of what I have to
I
do.
hate
here.
that term.
You don't understand.
hate
I'm not getting it.
You don't, because what you don't understand is you always had a okay. You're acting, not act. I know
he's
you're not
insane.
trying to do this like to be
No,
intentional.
I'm not. This is the way I am.
No.
I've known you for a long time. And one thing I've
What I-
always loved about you is you're laid back and all this, and things don't seem to bother you. I'm, to put it bluntly, fucking pissed at you right now that you're so okay with
'Cause
work life.
I'll
that
tell you.
You're like,
I'm not.
"Ah."
I'm
Because
saying
this is
I
what's-
always made the best
No.
of it so that it
See,
didn't feel
You're
good.
way too
This is
laid
a lie.
back
This is a
about
lie.
this. Way
This
too
is what
laid
I'm
back.
saying is the truth.
Look at
You
he's
don't-
giggling about it. He's,
because
it's crazy.
because I've done this. We've had this argument before. It's
crazy.
He always says this to me, right? Because he's like, "You're making all doom and gloom out of this stuff."
That's what
you
you do.
have to. Hold on, I do.
Michael, let's go get a beer right now.
I would like to. Saturday, I'm gonna ruin it.
I know.
It's, I'll spend the whole day, whatever. But nonetheless, so you're saying you had to do it anyway. We have to do it now, right? We're accepting we can't like overhaul the system tomorrow. Let's say it's not. Your outlook is not too cheery, and I don't think you're actively lying, right? I'm
not.
I think I know.
He's
But I'm saying
imbalanced.
you're trying. What you're saying to us, right, is like I understand that it's bad, and since we can't fix it, you guys should just look on the bright side and make it better, right? That's your stance. But what you are lacking is the feeling that we have at work. Like you're just
lacking
because
heart.
you never were upset about it. You didn't go through, oh, I hate this, and you're like, let me just be happier about it. You know, you started from, this is fine, I'm working, and you're like, this kind of stinks, but I'll hang out with my coworkers. I'll go to the water cooler, right? We're starting from a place where I can't stand going to work. So how, like, you're like, oh, just be happy. But I'm like, this, when I'm sitting there all day, like like they say the rat race. I feel like a rat in a maze.
Yeah.
I do
I
because
agree.
every day, or maybe that might be the wrong, like a wheel, you know? Because my
You do the
job,
same thing.
Also, yeah, my job particularly is cyclical, literally. So it's even, every once in a while we'll get a new client, but the job's actually monthly cyclical. I do the same thing,
Right.
the 1st to the 5th, and then the 7th, whatever, 7th through the 9th, yada yada, and then I do it again, forever. You know what I mean? Like that's great. Like that's it. Like, okay, unless I move jobs, I mean, but like, assuming I stay at the same company, which a lot of people, you stayed at one company for a long, it's
I
not,
did.
it's not unheard
Then
of.
they kicked me out.
It's not like I'm
it's
I'm
unheard
done.
Of. It's unheard of
Well,
nowadays.
it's more, but I think also
You don't get that watch anymore.
Tech is but tech is also I think more transient.
I did get
Whereas
off.
like business, but whatever. I'm saying I could leave, but like the idea of it is my job. What I do is cyclical, monthly and quarterly, right? So it's the same thing with the same people, the same
listen,
time a month.
here's the thing.
Every day, every month, every year for 60 years.
I completely understand where you guys are coming from. What I don't understand is why you would want to continue your agony and not figure out a way out.
Because my
the
only way out is
to
not
get
working.
rich. The only way out is to get rich.
I can play the lotto, but that's not going to give me the money.
Yeah, if you win.
Like
If you win.
If you were to win,
Well, then I'm
that's my
good.
best bet.
I think in all the years I just
Yeah.
learned something about
Yeah.
you.
What?
I think because especially the statements you just said about like you looked forward to playing with your friends before school.
Of course.
I think you take
Of course, I did that.
yeah, but I think you
friends.
take the little
Played
bit
with a
of
squirrel.
joy, the little bit
And
of
Brian.
joy during school, that like the hour before and maybe after, and you take the little enjoyment from work, like meeting friends after
Yeah.
work. I think you take those little bleeps of enjoyment and just roll it into making it all enjoyment.
You have
when
to.
the rest of it all sucked. Instead of going, yeah, I hate work.
Wait.
Work sucked, but I got some good friends out of it. And after a hard day's work, we'd go out and hang out, and that was fun. You're just rolling it all in.
No,
it was all great.
Listen, there
I
was
love
some.
it.
Okay,
Yeah.
so there was times at work.
I think you blinded
No,
yourself.
there was.
I agree. It does sound like now that Johnny says that, it seems like you're just kind of glossing over the part that
Yeah.
we don't like.
Yeah.
And you're like, that doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
It's about the hour before an hour after.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think-
we're
I
saying like,
think
what are you doing
there
when
were
you're sitting
times-
there for 8 hours?
The
No,
man
there
got
were
in your
times
head.
at work was miserable. Of course, there was times when I was so busy, and there was things. But there was also satisfying times at work. I mean, there's got to be sometimes you solve a problem that you feel good about.
I don't give a damn about
No.
that.
Oh, see, that's you guys have no freaking enjoyment in life.
There's no
Miserable.
enjoyment to be gained
Miserable people.
from doing
Listen.
my job.
Listen.
There's no enjoyment. There's no fulfillment for
Yeah.
what? Doing another spreadsheet again?
And even if you solve a problem at work,
It was my
best is-
grandfather's fault. I know now, because he had the sign hanging on the door to his little shop in the basement that said, "There's
hope it's not
no
work will set you
greater
free."
satisfaction than a job well done."
Yeah, for
I
yourself.
guess, like,
for
if I-
yourself. I get really
112.
excited when I
But
build a
I
table.
look at it
cut
like
that.
this: if I accomplished something that day, if I got myself into something that I was able to accomplish, it was all about me. See, that's the thing. I'm all about me. By the way,
You really are.
I am. No,
But
my
in the
job
wrong way.
no, I
It's
put
not
myself in
hard.
the bubble, and I'm like, okay, I accomplished this thing today for me,
No.
for the company, for me.
No.
But it's another day that
No,
I
shutting you out.
that I earn money because I have to, because I don't have any other way to do it, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, I was able to buy a car, buy a house, go on vacation a couple of times a year. So I took that as my enjoyment.
What you're saying, I
It's
get.
the things outside of, but we're saying for the 8 hours in work, that is painful. And we
never
want
that
that to
painful.
stop.
We want
For
that to
you.
stop. Right.
I know. I'm saying I understand you're coming from a different, but you keep saying the reason why you could deal with it all, which isn't a thing to you anyway. So you're not dealing with anything.
You know where you guys would really fit in, honestly, besides like China or
commune?
Russia? Prison.
Yeah, well,
Prison.
You ever heard of the?
You
this-
get your own
This is
time.
a thing. It's called the school to prison pipeline, I believe. Not school to prison, school to work. What's it? Something to prison pipeline.
I don't know.
Well, there's a school to work pipeline because they talk about the 9. It's so regulated.
Right,
like
right,
kids shouldn't. Kids they don't do as well. That's structured for children, but they structure it so that they're like, oh yeah, now he's just a worker. We got a little bot walking around. That's what
Exactly.
you did. That's okay.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
got you.
They got you.
They got you. They were like, you're
They
like you're
rewired
sitting
you.
there and you're like, you know what? This is okay as long as I have some buddies.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay,
But
we can do that.
prison-
We'll get you in a job.
I'm angry about you guys being.
Yeah,
angry.
you're angry at all.
It's
my
crazy.
God.
I get they got you.
They got him.
You know, you're one
But
of
I-
the
They got 'em.
They got you.
I don't know.
Like, I mean, you know what? Here, I'll give you an
I didn't
example.
live
You know
a
what I'm
terrible
passionate
life.
about?
I feel like
You know what I'm passionate about? I like to do.
it sucked, but it was a means for me to get where I am.
But I get that. That's why I do it.
We all
I
do
work.
it
I
for
go
that.
into work
Why be miserable?
because I have to be. It's not a choice I'm making.
And it's too
I
long.
don't wake up and I'm like, I could be happy today, but I'm going to be mad. It's a thing.
That's
that I
what
don't
you do.
Like
I feel
doing.
like that's what you do. You could be happy today. But
No,
you want
you're
to
wrong
be
about
mad.
it. You are wrong about that.
And I'm going back to the original. Like, yeah, it sucks, but we have to do it. We do. I just don't want to do it so much, so long.
Forever.
Forever. And God forbid.
I mean, I might be able to retire at 65, maybe.
right. But you might not
at
make
my
it to
age?
65.
Right. I mean, I might not make it, but I
But
just
that's
mean
what
even
sucks.
as the retirement age, it'll probably be 70.
Right.
What is even? No, it already backed up, isn't it? What's
70,
72.
72 now.
72.
It's 72.
It's 72. 72. So I'll be
You made me
72.
angry.
Some of us
Angrier.
are
I'll be
grandfathered into
almost
67.
yeah, but I'll be almost 80. Retiring.
What are you
am I
gonna
gonna
do?
in
What
that
are you
8
gonna
What am I
do?
going to do in that 8 years?
All right,
Well-
so
With what?
here's the thing. I threw this theory out to my family
I'll hear it.
before. So I'll throw this theory out to you guys because I think it works better. Right? Society is upside down. The whole work thing is no good. My idea was that you're off from work. You're on Social Security from the time you're.
This was a good idea. I remember
Let's
this.
just
This
go
is a
backwards.
great idea.
Back-
Let's just
I
say,
love the
let's
back-
just
This
say
is actually-
21.
this is a great
let's,
idea.
let's call it 21 to 45. Let's say.
Right.
It's a bit too
That's
long.
your childbearing years. You get to
Call it
spend all
35.
that time.
45 is a bit too. It just won't be
I-
doable.
I
let's
didn't-
let's
I
make it
didn't have-
realistic.
All right, I didn't have all the numbers worked
No,
out.
no,
but my
I'm just saying
idea
25
was
years would be a
you
bit
reverse this pattern, right? And you so and people argue, well, where's the Social Security money? It comes from the people that are working. So
I
you
like
work
this.
from 21 to 35, let's say. This is not enough to raise a kid. You need 20 years.
Okay. All right.
You work long enough to raise your kid, right? And then and there's things. What if you don't have a kid? You know, you got to
Wait,
consider
you
all of
work long? You work while you have?
that. You're
a kid?
off. I'm sorry.
Okay.
You're off
Right.
from 21 to 41. Let's just do it
Okay.
that way.
20
Make
years,
it, make
okay.
it make it nice, easy numbers. At 41, the idea is you've now raised a child or children,
Right.
right? You know, you've whatever, and I guess there would have to be a scale. If you have 3 children, maybe you're off till you're 45, 47, whatever it is.
People will just have more children.
Because you're
Or later.
raising the next generation of childbearing people and
Right.
and workers ultimately. And then you start working at 45 or whatever because listen, how many people do you know stop working at 60, 60
No one stops.
Nobody, because
Nobody
they
stops.
do it.
No,
and
no,
they
no, no.
made it
But
until
no,
you die.
okay, maybe now you guys are miserable. People stop working and they die because they got nothing else to do.
Because
right?
they've worked all their
Or they
life.
go just wither
they're
away in their
broken
freaking
people.
house.
Yeah.
Right, but they won't be. Now they'll be needed.
No, I like that idea.
Now they'll be needed.
No,
Now,
I love
get
this.
it. There's a longevity
Well, you
issue.
are saying then you work till you actually die, right?
Well, you work till you die, but who cares? Like, you've raised your kids.
No, I like the plan. I like the
I
plan.
like your
It
I
plan.
actually like
sense,
the. I like.
doesn't it?
I like it a lot. I
Your
actually
plan
do.
is still shit, but it's
No, it's not.
Wait,
Well,
no,
it's just funny that really at the end you're like, now you're sentenced to die
right.
at work
But it is 10
Which is
times.
fine.
at 40.
Who
No, it's
cares?
not.
But it is better than what we're doing now.
I
Isn't
do
it?
like the
I like
system.
it.
I like
you
the
get
ticket
all
system.
those young
I like
years
that.
I like it.
to do your traveling.
because that's
I
what I
like
said.
it. And then you can actually find out a thing that you like and are good at.
You're
in
on your
that
Social
time.
Security
I like
plan.
it.
100%. Because
Right.
I mean,
Yes.
eventually, like I said, you hope to be healthy and enjoy life when you retire. But majority of people aren't.
No, no.
No.
And
At
Exactly.
72.
and a lot of
Right.
people die before that.
Exactly.
Or they retire. And then, like you said, they're so used to working and getting up early and
Right.
being proactive that their body starts shut and they die as well.
Exactly.
So
My plan is a good
I
one.
like your plan, but I want to ask another question. As you were telling that story, I'm thinking to myself, we all know firemen, cops, all that stuff, city employees, civil employees. They all get the 20-year and out thing, right?
20, 25.
20, okay, let's go with
Whatever it is.
25 years. What is the city doing and how have they figured out to do that for all their employees that the country can't do that? Why are we not? Why isn't everybody not 25 and out?
I think it's just because the government wastes money, and our businesses don't. Like, the city's just writing blank checks and like, yeah, we'll pay for you forever because it's politics and they're all idiots. But like a business, your boss isn't going to do that because they don't want to give.
But
up
no,
money.
but why shouldn't it
'cause
be
your
the government?
Because your boss is actually losing money. Nobody in the government is actually losing money.
We'd have to-
Nobody who's signing that is actually saying, "I'm gonna like our business is gonna suffer." It's all it's taxes.
You'd have to
They
run the
don't care.
numbers, right? Like New York City Police Department is one of the biggest police departments in the
Yeah, it's massive.
country.
It's like bigger than
Right?
militaries.
So let's
Right.
say it's I don't know how many people it is. Is it 50,000? Is it in the?
I think
is it
I think it's in tens of
thousands?
thousands. Like active cops, you're saying?
Right.
Yeah, I believe so.
But you're not talking. It's not just cops. You got the firemen.
No.
correct?
No,
my
you're just
point-
saying, like, as an
but
example.
Just,
Okay.
just take that as an example, and then when you start scaling it back to the guys that get thrown off the job in their 19th
Who
year
actually
because they did
finishes at
something.
20? You're saying?
The guys who retire at who don't retire really, and then when they do retire, they pass away because whatever. What I'm saying, it's a small portion. It's a smaller number compared to the millions and millions of people that are working, right? The millions of people
Right.
that are in the workforce, and it is and again, it's a we'll have to go to Albany to talk to them, but the country wastes money, right?
They
Yeah,
make a lot.
that's-
Of,
I mean, it's not-
they're
they're not
using
wasting. I like the
Social
idea,
Security
but-
money on other programs now that they
But-
shouldn't
Yeah,
be,
yeah.
right? So they can't afford to pay people from the time they're 55 years old Social Security because they're depleting those funds.
so I
It's a-
have
it's a
another
government
question
problem.
on that because you're both finance people. Obviously, there is a lot of bank accounts or funding where you can put your money and it grows a lot better than a regular bank account. I'm forgetting the word. What is that word?
A fund? I don't know.
No, the
ATM?
money when it like grows quicker.
Money market?
No,
I don't know. Capital gains.
compound interest and all
Compound
that stuff.
interest,
okay,
Compound
yeah, yeah,
interest. So you have why, and maybe I'll do if I start a company. Like, why wouldn't you have a set amount of money from the day you start working? It goes into some kind of great fund by the government, even though they'd steal it, where it has compound interest and
can't
earns a
do
lot
that.
of money. So that in 25 years, you get that money back.
They have.
So
Well, there's a couple
they
things.
used to have that.
You can do. There's there's
You-
pensions.
those were
But it still was not 20-year
But
pensions.
those are all gone.
There's
Those are
never 20-year
pensions.
pensions, and they got rid of those
right.
No, it's not that it was a 20-year pension, but
because
when you were ready
the company
to retire,
doesn't want to pay.
your pension.
But the
you could
company
draw
shouldn't
down
pay. You pay.
on your
I'm saying.
pension whenever you
A
want.
pension's paid by the
Right, but I'm saying
company.
To
You
get it
pay
back,
into a
why
retirement.
can't we
I have
pay
a,
it?
I have a retirement. It's
Yeah,
just
but
not going to make enough.
it's not. It's you're going to
You
get
can do-
$10.
this
You'll-
is it,
you'll make
right?
enough to
You can do
retire.
savings.
You'll be all right. Stop being a crybaby.
And not at 40. Not in
You
20
can't
years.
retire at 40. You're going to
He's
retire
saying-
at 40 because of the
He's
podcast.
saying 20 years.
When the podcast was up, you were
okay,
able to
yeah,
retire.
I will be able to retire at 72.
And then you'll be working 7
Sure.
hours a day on this freaking
I'll live
podcast.
a great
It's gonna
Seven-
make you so angry.
I'll live a great 3 years after my retirement.
Listen, I could sit here for 10 hours a day with you guys because I enjoy this. And again,
No, but for the 20 years, right? There's a couple options, like as you're saying. A savings account is like, I don't know, what, 1% floats around there too, maybe on a good year, right? Like a
you
savings
guys-
account.
If you guys
There's-
just move to my country that I open up,
whatever.
You'll have 25 years up front to enjoy your life.
I do like that plan actually.
You know?
I do think it's. a
I
pretty good
like
idea.
it. Let's do it.
I like front loading
Instead of
the thing.
there are
That's really
days.
good because then if you die early,
That's true. You
You're
might.
done.
Well,
You're out
you
of
might
it.
run into a lot of people at 41. Just you know.
You think people
offing
no.
himself.
You heard what's up in Canada?
Like,
They're going
No,
crazy.
listen,
with the,
but you know, if you go deeper into it, like as the kids start to move out of the house,
No, it's a good- I like
they're
it.
like, oh, what am I going to do? What am I going to do?
Yeah.
They
Get
a
find a
job.
nice job,
No, like
become a
that.
roofer at 41. It's perfect.
Yeah,
You'll
no,
be-
I do
You'll be
like.
healthy well into your 60s.
I
and
like.
you'll be happy.
I like the idea. I actually do think.
I
It's a
do.
good idea.
I think
pretty
it's a
solid.
good one.
It's a solid plan, as far as.
Okay, world, listen to me. This is important. I just made these guys actually think about being happy about working with this reverse.
No.
Work thing.
That's not true. I'm
no,
not happy
you
about
said
working.
you would be
I-
happy.
No, I said it's
It's
actually
better.
crazy. It's better.
It's a
better,
I
but
do think
would
it's
still be
insane that
happy.
at 45 somebody's going to come to you and be like, "Now you're going to work till you die." Like that's still.
Well, we're not
that's
gonna-
a crazy idea.
We're not going to
Suicide-
phrase
you're
it
not
to
gonna
them like
say
that.
it.
Suicide
We're not
rate's
gonna say
gonna
you're
go
work
up.
till you die.
Yeah, you're not going to say it.
You're going to work till
Well,
you...
who would say it?
No, because there is...
It's dystopian.
Listen, there's going to be a tail end of people
somebody
that aren't
gotta.
healthy enough to work that you got to figure out how to take care of, too.
Nope, not in this system. They're out.
Now, this is not
What
soil,
happened?
this is not
What?
Soylent Green, right?
Trebuchet
No, we're not Soylent Green to people.
Trebuchet him out of here. No, I'm not. You don't got to kill him. I'm saying hook him up.
Oh,
you know,
man, you guys are a disaster.
send him across
Yeah.
the pond on a trebuchet.
You just don't seem so angry anymore, I'm going to be honest with you.
It's Saturday.
And yeah,
I can't. If I'm angry on a Saturday all day,
It ruined the weekend.
I've wasted my time.
I will say,
I wasted my own time.
At some points in this episode, I have been internally flaming because we've just been talking about work a lot, and
Yeah,
I'm
it
like,
does rile me.
I'm like, shit, it's like a work day again. So yeah, but now I'm happy because yeah, I'm hanging out.
Have the alternative plan. We'll go on the alternative plan.
Okay.
Listen, it's a societal problem. It really is. I think a lot of things in society are wrong the way it's set up. The fact that we're threatened with, our Social Security running out, so you work your whole life and you might not have that safety net at the end, right? On the front end of it, I probably could have done better on the front end doing things financially for myself. I tried to set my kids up so that they're understanding that, what they do now is going to impact them. Now that they're kind of adults, I think they listen a little bit more. But I guess my overriding point is, I could understand being angry. Nobody wants to go to work 5 days a week. I think about the fact that, I've had a year off to think about this, right? I find things to do. Yes, I always keep myself busy doing something. But thinking about going back to work 5 days a week, that does make me angry.
That's
right. Going back 5 days a week makes me
I
angry.
think you might get that might be a portion of how.
I get it. I completely
Yeah.
understand.
Not having taken it,
But what
year
but
break.
what
Yeah,
I
exactly.
what I
Well,
wouldn't
thank
want to
God.
do is just take it to the point where I'm literally angry getting up every day because I just think life is too short for that.
Unavoidable.
I
No, I just
look
think
at
Life's too
I'm-
short.
I'm-
Life's too short.
Life's too short for
There
that.
we go. Empty
Life's
platitude,
too short to
right?
make up.
Yeah.
It was long enough for work,
angry.
I guess.
Yeah.
Go in,
Right? Live every day like it's your last at work.
go in, make the best of it.
No.
You know,
There's
what I mean?
no best.
My
of it.
alarm-
You're not
There is a
getting- You're
best
not
of it.
getting it.
My alarm
You're
goes
not
off.
getting
I
it.
curse at myself. I go in the mirror. I look at myself and say, "This friggin' sucks." The whole way into work, I'm dreading it. The minute I walk in, stomach ache, annoyed.
guys.
Yeah,
It stinks. It stinks. I wish I didn't
yeah.
feel like this. I wish I
So
liked
do I.
work like you. I don't.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah.
It's just a thing.
You're on
Sorry
your
to
own.
hear that.
Yeah.
I
well, it
wish-
stinks.
I
That's
wish-
why I'm mad
I
about
wish
it.
Matt was here for this because I'd like to get his take on it.
I don't think he's a. He is paradoxical, I think, in that he. Well, I guess you guys might have a difference of opinion on it, but it seems like he works hard at things he likes doing.
Yeah,
I think Matt feels similar to us in that he doesn't like the 5-day work week or anything, but I think he enjoys working. He would want to be like, he would love to be like the sound guy on a podcast, even though it's, you know what I mean? If it's a lot of work, but he likes doing it.
Right.
I think he enjoys doing stuff in a work environment.
but I
he
think,
just feels the same way about like 5 days a week, 9 to 5 is kind of crazy. If he could just, if he was working in like an industry where it's, come on Saturday, we need you for 3 hours.
Yep.
He does that kind of stuff. He'll love to take a ride, be like, oh yeah, I'll get a couple hours
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
make a couple bucks, go
Work
home.
here and there.
That kind of thing.
Work
I think
here
he,
and
so
there. Yeah.
I would like to not work at all. My pure, if I could just have one like wish, it would be that I could win like the Mega Millions or whatever. So I could set up my family and whatnot, but I could just retire and do whatever I want to do every day for the rest of my life.
That's funny. You know what my one wish is?
What?
Health.
All right. Well, I'll take the money.
me too. All right.
All right, listen, I already gave you guys my final thoughts. I think.
Yeah, I don't want to hear it again. Let's wrap
I mean,
this up.
I get the anger. I do understand the anger. I guess if I sat back and thought about it, I wasted more than half of my life working. Damn it.
There you go. We're getting him.
He's faking it.
Okay, I
He's
know.
faking it.
He's faking it.
He's making this stuff
With
up.
with his big smile
Like
as
he
he
cares.
says it all. Yeah, he doesn't care.
I would, and I have a feeling Johnny would, fully like to not work.
Yes.
And have our time to just be our time, whatever.
Right.
And if we fill it with things that could be considered work, but it's things we like, we wouldn't consider it work, so it's the same, right? This is I think we're over time for our normal one.
Yeah.
So we'll probably have to do a work part 2.
I don't know if I can handle it.
Well, with Matt. You skip
Well,
out. We'll just have a fun one.
you're not
We'll have a
angry
good
about
one
it.
with
I'll
just
go away
Matt.
that
Well, you're not angry, so we don't want you in that
Yeah,
one.
true. This is the wrong thing for you.
I'm angry. I'm
You-
angry
you
about
know
you
what?
guys being angry.
You get that day off.
Thank you.
Enjoy it. Enjoy it before this becomes too much of a job.
What if it's a day I don't want off?
We'll work on your schedule.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah, stay angry.